evening. Welcome to Build Your Best Life. I'm Coach Deborah D. Smith, and I am super excited to have you here today. We have an amazing broadcast for you today. As you know, each month I have a theme. The theme for the December is Life is a Journey. Life is a journey, and we know that. We are all preparing for 2023, but hey, we got some stuff we got to get straight in 2022 before we can move forward. So life is a journey. And our guest today is going to assist as we talk about just flex, because we know that we live in a world with laws, policies, procedures, methods, operating procedures, etc. But it is essential to have the capacity to be flexible. Yes, we all have to be flexible. We can't just, stay one way all the time. Our way is the right way because situations occur, people display varying emotions, life happens, mental health may vary. So there are different dynamics that are going on. Therefore, we have to go with the flow. So good afternoon, Jocelyn and Dan. Thank you for tuning in. Now, I want to welcome my guest for today. And many of you may know her. It's Elizabeth McCoy. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, just doing great. And Elizabeth is from Texas, but she's going to tell you all a little bit about herself before we get started. But remember, we're talking about just flex.
Yes, it is very important to learn how to be flexible through any situation that you may encounter. I am originally from Southeast Kansas, a small town where life has thrown some pretty hard punches at me. 22 years ago, I was severely injured in a car accident that basically turned my life upside down. My dreams and my goals that I was going after pretty much died as a result of that car accident, and I was lost for a long time. I learned that it is so very important to learn how to be flexible so that you can continue on and learn to persevere and keep going. I basically had to relearn how to walk, talk, and care for myself again. I had to relearn who I was as an individual. And that can be very difficult. It was difficult for me for a long time, but I am very blessed that I was able to always maintain a positive outlook. And I always knew I had a purpose, and that's what kept me going. So thank you very much for having me on tonight to get to share a little bit more about me and uh, how I've learned to be able to just flex throughout my life.
Oh, you are so welcome. And I love it because I always talk about mindset and having that positive mindset. So you are an example of the difference that mindset could make because you could have been, down, negative, and given up, but you didn't. So we can see from your story what having that positive mindset, what difference it makes. So thank you. So if you're out there, please like, share, comment as we go along. If you have not liked my Build Your Best Life page, please make sure that you like it so that I can see that you're on and see your comments. And please subscribe to our YouTube page as well. We're going to go ahead now, but just want to make sure that you like my page. All right. Many people think, in black and white, meaning everything is just rigid and just set in stone. There are no gray areas. Many may learn to do something one way and then they have difficulty deviating from that method. The world is constantly changing and it is imperative to stay relevant to be successful, because if you don't change, then you're not doing what needs to be done to do a quality job. Now, it is good to use reasonable organizational skills and be proactive living in ways that make life less complicated. However, we must never forget that life happens and we sometimes need to just flex or be flexible. So, Elizabeth, how essential do you believe it is to be flexible?
Like you said, life is always changing. The world's gonna throw punches at you. If you can't learn to be flexible, you're not gonna keep an open mind, you're not gonna have a positive mindset, and it's gonna make it very difficult to get through those challenges. While early on in my recovery, the positive wasn't always there. There was a lot of times I was negative. Why me? But I'm very blessed that I had the voice in my heart saying, I have a plan for you. And that kind of pushed me to help me to keep going because I knew I had a purpose and that I needed to learn to be flexible so I could fulfill that purpose for my life. I'm still here today, so it is possible to learn to be flexible and roll with those punches, but you have to always keep an open mind and look at the positive in everything. Stop dwelling on the negative. What you focus on is what's going to grow. So, me, I tried my best to think about the positive of each and every day. Every night before I went to bed, even if my day was full of nothing but negative, try to pick out three positive things from the day. As you continue to do that each and every day, those positive aspects are going to be so much more plentiful and you're going to be able to come up with them so much easier. I know in the beginning it may seem like there are very few, but as long as you continue to try to pull those positives out, that's going to be what grows, and that's going to just help you to be able to grow and be able to get through future challenges that much easier.
Oh, God, that's very good. And I like your example of no matter what goes on during a particular day, to pick out two things that were positive. And, that just goes back to always making sure that we don't just think about being grateful a particular time of year, but we do that all year long. So every day, if we, write down in our journals or think about what are the two most, I guess, important, greatest things that we're grateful for just for today, and do that each and every day, that would be, so amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so can you provide an example of how being flexible has made an enormous difference in a particular accomplishment for yourself?
Well, the relearning to walk or trying to figure out my purpose, like after I graduated high school, I knew I had a purpose. I went to 2 years of community college, was not sure what I was going to do for a degree. Went on to college, ended up changing my major 4 times before I finally got on the right path with my degree in occupational therapy.
Hmm.
But I always just kept walking through the doors that were open for me with trust and faith because I knew I had a purpose, even though a lot of times I was still lost. I still tried to live with a thankful and grateful heart the best I could each and every day so that I could figure out what God's plan was for me. Um, I graduated with my degree in occupational therapy, but look at me here today. Uh, that wasn't the end plan for me. Now I'm speaking, I'm providing hope. While I've been doing that for the past 10 to 11 years with my degree, with the patients I see that have suffered a stroke, who just want to give up and say they can't do this, I've been sharing my testimony and providing hope to them. Now I'm on a path to be able to share my story and continue providing hope to people who feel lost and think that there is no hope and they're just ready to give up.
Wow, what an example. I mean, that's just so amazing, but that goes to show it's so important for us to find our purpose. And like you said, you changed majors 4 times, but you knew you had a purpose and you did not give up until you found that one, that right one. And then you were able, at the time you said some days you struggled with being negative, but why you? So then you found out why you, because your God had given you a purpose to help other people, and if you hadn't gone through it, you wouldn't be as effective as you are today. So that's just amazing. That's just amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Sometimes we feel that our way is the best. If I come up with a plan, then that's the way I want everybody to do it. That's the best way to do it. And so then we get slow to change our, you know, or even when somebody recommends a new process to us, but sometimes it becomes necessary to be versatile and to go with that flow. Our way is not always the right way, and things do change. So if you had a preferred method of doing a task and it works, how willing are you to try something else recommended, and why?
Well, I'm very willing because if someone has a way that they recommend, they say this might save you some time or make it a little bit easier, keep an open mind. Your way may not be the easiest. I like to always say, like, if you're struggling to figure out a way with something, you've got goals and dreams, always keep those goals and dreams. Just change the plan until you figure out what works best for you. Someone comes up to me and they say that they have a way that may make it a little bit easier, be open minded, give it a shot. You never know until you try it. It may save you a whole heck of a lot of time as well as stress and who knows what else.
All right. Yeah, we just have to listen and try things, be open, like you said. And I want to take an opportunity. We had some more people to come on. I want to welcome them: Jocelyn Charles, Agnes Copeland, Catherine Trotter. Good evening to each of you. Thank you for tuning in. Elizabeth McCoy and I are talking about the topic just flex. You have to learn to be flexible. So I just wanted to give you all a shout out there. There are different ways that we can choose to just flex. One way I can think of is, and you mentioned this earlier, is to be open minded. But that was something that had come to my mind. You have to be open minded. And though we may have a method and we know it's tried, it's true, we've used it for years and we know it works, it's efficient, and we can get things done, and we just think it's the best. Sometimes we still need to listen to other people's recommendations. Unless we can prove that there is no way that their way is going to be better, we need to at least try it. Sometimes we get so in our way that we don't even want to try new things, especially in the workspace. It might be someone that doesn't even do the particular task that you do, but one day you were out and they had to work on your desk and they were like, if you did it this way, that would be easier. But, they don't want to do that. So what do you think about this, Elizabeth?
Yeah, being open-minded, trying new things, that is imperative. That's how you're going to learn to grow. That's going to further help you to be able to overcome the challenges and the changes that are going to be thrown at you in the future. This world is always changing. That's never going to change.
Mhm.
So if you are not open-minded and you can't learn to roll with those punches and change with it, figure out new ways, you're not going to be successful and you're going to be down and in a rut. So learning to be open-minded and rolling with the punches, that's how you're going to continue to succeed in life and continue to excel.
That's so true. Thank you. And Catherine says, that's true that we have to try different things. And, if more people are open to that, we'll get along. I think the world will be a better place as well because, some people, they get angry at you when you try to help them. So doing that is helpful. And then I know, Jocelyn, and she said your testimony is a blessing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, can you so I talked about being open-minded, Elizabeth. Can you provide us with some other examples of being flexible? And some of you out there as well, if you can think of some ways, you can put it in the comments.
Other ways of being flexible through work, through home life, everything, just being flexible. There's got to be some give and take in your relationships, whether it's with your spouse, with your parents, with your children. You got to learn how to do some give and take. If you're in an argument and your spouse has one way of doing it, but you have another way, try to compromise. That's gonna make everything a lot easier. Just try to discuss it and compromise and come up with a mutual conclusion to be able to compromise and continue to move forward.
Compromises, yeah, that's a good, very good one. If I could spell. Yeah, we need to compromise. Our audience, is there anything that you can think of that's another way that's important examples of us being flexible and compromise? Listen, at least listen. Sometimes people don't even want to listen to what you have to say if you're saying you need to do something differently.
There's a saying, okay, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. So try to listen, hear the other person's perspective, whether it's your boss, whether it's a coworker, whether it's your spouse. Listen and again, be open-minded and agreeable to try new things to be able to further succeed. You never know. You might be able to take a coworker's approach and combine it with your approach and then do even better than you've previously done, whatever the task is in the past. Just you got to be open.
Yes, that's right. And another thing is, I think being flexible is because we can learn something new every single day. And like I always like to say, I'm a lifelong learner. So you just learn something new every day. You just, you're not even looking for it, or somebody will say something or do something. And I think I mentioned this on Saturday. I was like, I had to meet my son somewhere. And although I had the navigation on my phone going, and I got a call or something happened with that. And then I put it in the car, and still I looked around and I knew I was not where I was supposed to be. And I had told my son, I said, well, when I get near, I'll call you. So I called and he's like, well, where are you? And I was like, oh, I don't know. And it was, it's getting dark and I didn't know where I was. And he's like, oh, I forgot. I can find out where you are because we share, find that phone. So he found out where I was. But in doing that, he said, okay, I'm going to pinpoint you. And I was like, huh? Well, okay, whatever. So he said, okay, Mom, you're going to see something on your screen. You see that stick pin? Yes. He said, well, push it. I pushed the stick pin and my map started doing something. He said, okay, now follow that, Mama. And it just took me right to where he was. So it was just amazing. But I could have sat there and fussed with him. Just tell me where you are. Where do I need to turn or whatever? But he had a better way. I mean, because that was really simple. Push the button and I got turn by turn directions. So we can definitely learn something new every single day. But if we don't want to listen and be open to people, what's there's no use. Let's see. Catherine says we have to be flexible for uncertainty that may come upon us. We have to be open to adjust so we can move forward. That's so right. We don't want to stay where we are. We want to be able to move, um, so we can be better at what we're doing because, like I was saying the other day, as I was doing some research, I was reminded whatever we're doing, it's work that God created work for us to do, and He wants us to do it all to the best of our abilities. So if someone has a better way, a better method, a suggestion, we need to take them up on that so that we can be please God. Because if we're not doing something as the best that we can, then we're not pleasing Him like we're supposed to either.
And if you're feeling stuck, something that's got me through the past 22 years is asking God for wisdom and knowledge. Ask Him to give you clarity. It may seem like you're stuck and nothing is going right, but if you keep pushing forward and walking through the doors with faith and trust and knowing,
Mm.
once that wisdom and clarity is revealed, you are going to feel more blessed than you could ever even imagine. Me, I had no idea. I had dreams of being a singer on the country music stage before my car accident. But I'm very blessed that God was always by me through all of my struggles and everything that I had to face because had I made it to the country music stage and not being where I am now, my life would not be near as rewarding and near as fulfilled. So I'm very blessed that He was there beside me every step of the way, guiding my steps, allowing me to be His hands and His feet because I'm doing His work each and every day. I will continue to work at the hospital and I will walk into a patient's room. Like this past Saturday, I went into a patient's room and that patient told me once I told him my story, God sent you into my room for a reason. I needed to hear your story. I needed that hope. I needed that inspiration. Thank you.
Awesome. That's right. Because a lot of times, like, we talked about when we first started out, people that have been in your situation, a lot of times they just give up right off the bat. They throw in a towel and say, well, there's too much work. I don't want to go through the therapy. I just give up. And so, they have the life that's left without them trying to do the physical therapy or whatever. But then when you walk in and they can see, you tell them your testimony and they can see the difference that it made, and just how blessed you are. Then they say, well, she could do it. I can do it too. At least I can try.
Absolutely. If you give up, I said this a few weeks ago on one of my episodes. If you give up, then nobody wins and everyone loses. You
Mm.
don't know whose lives you're going to touch over the next year. And once you do figure out your purpose, you may not know it right now, but pray and ask for that wisdom, that knowledge, and that clarity, and keep pushing. Because a year from now, you don't have any idea the lives that you're going to be able to touch and the people that you're going to be able to help if you just keep pushing through and figure out what that purpose is.
That's right. That is amazing. I cannot believe our time went so fast. This has been a great topic. I love it. Just flex. You can't stay the way you are. You have to be flexible. And I just thought about this. You know how sometimes somebody say, "Oh, do you want a straw?" And they give you a straw, but it's the one that just stands straight up. And depending on what size cup or can you have, sometimes it's a little difficult. But when you get that straw that bends and is flexible, it is so much better. So think about that. is better when it's flexible. So you got to be flexible. So let's,
Absolutely.
as we wrap up, please tell everyone why it is essential to just flex.
Well, if I hadn't learned to be flexible, I wouldn't be here right now, uh, providing you with any kind of hope or any of my knowledge and the strategies that I've learned along the way. It's so important to continue to be flexible. That's when you're going to grow. Growth is so important to help you to be able to get through the future changes and challenges that you're going to face. Like we said, this world is always changing. That's not going to stop. If anything, it continues to change even more and more as the years go on. I know when I was younger, I don't remember all of this changing and challenges, but the world's always going to be changing. If you don't learn to flex, you're going to get stuck and you're not going to get anywhere.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think that, this was a great topic. And when I came up with my topics for December, and then you said that you would be on, I just put the two together, and then it just worked out. So I'm just so happy for that. So I know you told everyone that you do work in occupational therapy, but if you would like to share what the other things that you're doing, I have your information up.
I am growing my inspirational speaking platform, Elizabeth McCoy Inspires. You can find me on Facebook and YouTube. I'm also a holistic wellness coach. You can find me at Hope for number 4 Natural Health on Facebook and YouTube as well. I just feel very, very blessed that God continues to open doors for me each and every day to be able to help those who feel lost and don't know how to keep going. And He's given me the knowledge and the wisdom to be able to help them in the ways that they can truly benefit. So again, I'm so blessed. And thank you, Deborah, for having me on.
Oh, you are so welcome. Thank you for taking the time to be on. I really appreciate it. So you see her information on the screen. You have to check her out. And if you missed her amazing story last Tuesday on the 29th, please go back on Facebook or YouTube and check it out. It's an amazing, amazing story. So you will have to check that out as well. Please visit my website, www.buildyourbestlife.org, so you can find out more about Build Your Best Life if you're on here as a new visitor. You can also see my calendar of events. You can read the blog that comes out each Monday. It's out there on the website as well. You can see the services that I offer, which is speaking, webinar speaking, coaching, consultation, and also my book. You can you can order an autographed copy of my book, Build Your Best Life, from the book, and it is all about overcoming those obstacles to build your best life. It's a great book. It will help you, whether you are a young man, a mother with a son, an educator, leader, mentor, coach. Makes a great gift. So go out there and check it out. If you like the Kindle version, you can go to Amazon.com and get a copy. But please check us out. We're on each Tuesday, Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also, please check us out each second Saturday. We have conversation with the guys. And if you have a young man in your life, especially you want to get them on those second Saturday mornings, they talk, have amazing conversations. It's the heartbeat of chats. They talk about those subjects that only men can talk about, but they are always very interesting. So they will be on this Saturday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be Coach Ricardo Miller from Dallas, Texas, Deacon Dan Smith from Jacksonville, Elder Joseph Levette from Jacksonville, Florida, and Dr. Coach Kevin Wilburn from Waldorf, Maryland. I was trying to think of Waldorf, Maryland. So they will be here on Saturday morning. So please join us if you can. This Thursday is time for coffee chat. So Carol and I will be on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And our topic is the highest mountain. So please take an opportunity to check us out if your schedule permits. If not, you can always go back and view the video at a later time. So again, thank you all for tuning in today. And thank you again, Elizabeth, for tuning in. Did you think of anything else you would like to say before we close out?
You can check out my episodes on Wednesday at 6:30 on both YouTube and Facebook. Elizabeth McCoy Inspires. Thank you, and I hope you all have a blessed night.
Okay, you said it was Wednesday at 6:30, and what's it called?
Elizabeth McCoy Inspires.
Okay.
On
right.
YouTube and Facebook. I have a different episode each week.
All right. Thank you so much. You have to check that out. Elizabeth McCoy Inspires. So Wednesday at 6:30. Is that Central Time?
Central Time, yes.
Okay. 6:30 Central Time. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. So as you travel on your road to building a better life, there will be distractions, pit stops, rough terrain, and detours. Don't let any of those negative aspects of your journey stop you. Though they may slow you down, keep going to be a better you so that you can build your best life. And remember, building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan, it's our commitment. I love you. Be blessed. Stay safe. Thank you all for tuning in. And thank you again, Elizabeth. Bye-bye.